Yo, what's going on guys? Jared here. Today I wanted to talk about a deck that I've been playing for fun. I do not think this is the most competitive deck strictly because of the Molcharmies. If these cards did not exist, I think that this deck would actually be pretty strong. But because these cards exist, it plays into them so hard because it is a combo deck. But if the board is made, you definitely win. I have never lost a game making the board. It is so broken. And the deck I'm talking about is Infernoble. So if you know about Infernoble, you know that the actual M board pieces were not hit. The thing that was hit was able to make the M board. So the M board is actually still really strong. So I have a list here for you guys. I have it mathed out so that the math should work out with the hand traps wise. But yeah, like this deck is insane. If you saw the previous Azamina video, I posted a little one card combo with Deception for Infernoble. We actually took that and improved it and made it way better. Now that M board, if it goes through, is like you're not losing. Like it's a crazy M board. I don't care if you have like Dark Ruler evenly and Raigeki, like you're still losing. So yeah, we'll go ahead, jump into the video, show you what we made, and yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Please subscribe and leave any comments down below or any suggestions for the deck itself. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right into this. Okay, so I actually don't want to go through I'm going to go through the deck very quickly. It's just card by card, but I want to go through it pretty quickly just so that I want to get to the combo. I think that's way more important. And the combo is going to be one Deception / Diabell / Wanted. But yeah, so I play 3 of each of the Charmies in the main deck because they are the best hand traps by far. And if you draw them going first, you end up pitching them for either Diabell or Deception. So I don't think they're like completely wasted in this deck. And I think that the power of them going second is worth their justification in here for now at least. 3 copies of Veiler, 1 Call By, 3 Imperm, 3 Ogre, 3 Ash, 3 Nib, 3 Mourner, 1 Magnuma, 2 Druid Worm. It's for all like the hand traps and the non-engine and stuff like that. All of that amasses to the math kind of working out for 60 cards. I believe it's like a 75% chance to open up 2 hand traps in this deck, which is pretty solid. Next up, we have the Infernoble Knight cards, along with Fiendsmith cards and the Wanted cards, a bunch of different stuff. 3 copies of Uppercutter. I think for Infernoble, you have to go down this route because it is a 1-card starter, and you don't have a lot of those anymore, so Uppercutter being a 1-card starter is very nice. 1 copy of Lacrima for the Fiendsmith stuff, 1 copy of Oliver, 1 copy of Turpin, 1 copy of Renaud, 1 copy of Almace, 2 Durandal, and 2 Museum. These cards, you don't really want to draw them, but you also need them in the deck to be able to search. 3 Engraver, 3 Diabell, 3 Wanted, 1 of the original Simple Spoils, 3 Deception, 1 Magius, 1 Angel Statue Azarune, 1 Hallowed Azamina, 1 Spar, 1 Tract, 1 Worry, and 1 Jet Synchron. For the extra deck, we have 1 Angelica, 1 Roland, 1 Charles, 2 of the Charles the Great, 1 Requiem, 1 Sequence, 1 copy of Moon, 1 copy of Desiree, 1 copy of the Searcher Azamina, 1 copy of the Negate Azamina Silvera, 1 Princess, 1 Silhouette Rabbit Hat, 1 copy of SP Little Knight, and 1 of the Battle Unboxer King Dempsey. And for the side deck, we have 3 copies of the Crossout Designator, almost a Nolman to cross out. 3 copies of Triple Tractics Thrust, 1 copy of Swamp Mirror, 3 copies of Harpy's Featherstorm, 3 copies of Dark Ruler No More, 1 copy of Feather Duster, and 1 copy of Evenly. So again, going first, you just side in the Thrusts and the Swamp Mirror, the Crossouts, and the Storm. I just want as much stuff for just cheesing our opponent if we get Charmied, because either going to be on 6 of them. So if they Charmy you, you thrust for the Featherstorm, make a rabbit, get Featherstorm them with Swamp Mirror being a Wing Beast Wind, comes back to you, OTK them. It's pretty straightforward and clean. And then going second, we obviously have Dark Ruler and Thrust to help push through, to just like get through core boards, because once we make the board, like we pretty much win. But the ratios in this deck, I think, are still a work in progress. I want to mess around with them more, like maybe cut down on some of the non-engine, because some of the hands are just like, if you draw like too many pieces of this stuff, yeah, it can like really hurt some of the hands, like the quality of them, unfortunately. But everything else is pretty solid. If you draw a lot of the other cards, it works out pretty well. You just don't want to double up on stuff, right? Like you don't want to see like Engraver plus Tract, or Lacrima plus Worry, stuff like that, which apparently happens to me all the time because I'm just gotta be the most unlucky person ever. So this is pretty much where I'm at with it right now. Let me know how you would change it. I'm really curious. Maybe I can cut down on like Museum and Durandal, but like these also search these cards, so I'm not sure yet. Maybe cutting down on like the Bestials, putting in like maybe Kashtira cards, maybe that'd be better. Just because they play in the Charmies better. They're like little extenders that help you be able to make them the Link monsters, which I think could be helpful. So maybe there's something there, but I'm not positive. And then, of course, you can be able to play Reinhardt again as a fire warrior with the Castiros as well, which I think could also be useful. So I don't know. We'll see. It's definitely a possibility. But enough of that being said, I want to show you guys the full one-card combo line for this deck because it is absolutely crazy. So let's go ahead and jump into that. Okay, guys, just something to keep in mind that this combo is going to need discards, like when you're going through it. I think it only takes 2 discards if I remember right, but you also get a draw back from Wanted. So, you know, take that as you will. The discard can be that. So just something to keep in mind. So I'm just be doing this live because I've just memorized this combo at this point. So we're going to go Deception effect to get the Hollowed. Use Hollow's effect, send the Deception to be able to summon the Azamina Searcher. Use the Azamina Searcher's effect so that we can grab Wanted. Use the Wanted to grab Witch, and then we can search Witch, and then we can special the Witch by sending another card from our hand. Use Witch to then get OSS and have that set to our field. Then we are able to link to the Witch and the Azamina to go into Moon, and we are able to shuffle back the Fusion to get back the Hollowed Azamina. And again, you have Wanted in here. Keep in mind, you can just use this at any time. But I think the best time to use it is on the OSS for follow-up for the next turn. So here you can banish, target the Diabellstar, and be able to search your Jet Synchron. And then from here, you can use your Wanted to put back, what's it called? The OSS and get an additional draw. So, you know, we'll just say we drew another nib just as a draw. So yeah, you get to this point where you have, again, Silvera, Moon, and Jet Synchron. Again, if you saw my other video, you understand this is the point we get to. So from here, we're going to do a similar thing. But again, the line gets much, much better. Me and Nick kind of cooked with this one, in my opinion. I think this came out really good. So we're going to use, what's it called? Go into Requiem for Lacrima effect to be able to send Engraver. Then, of course, as we saw from the last line, the startup of it is still the same, where we're going to synchro those two into Angelica's effect to be able to search Museum, activate Museum, and we are going to search Almace. Very weird choice, I know, but trust me, we need it. We're going to go Almace effect to be able to get Durandal. It does not matter what monster we equip it to. Durandal effect's going to get Oliver. Oliver is super important for this, and again, I will show you why, but it is super important that we have this in rotation. From here, we can summon the Engraver by shuffling back the Moon. Specifically, it can be Moon or Lacrima. As long as Requiem is in there, that's all that matters. From here, we are able to equip the Requiem to the Engraver. Then we can activate the Oliver in hand, sending the Requiem, because that is a cool interaction. These are equip cards, so you could use them for send for Oliver. Then you can link off the, the Engraver and the Oliver to go into your sequence. Then you can activate Sequence's effect to shuffle away all the Fiendsmiths that are in the graveyard, the rest of the White Fiends, to summon out Desiree. And then from here, you are actually able to use Jet Synchron. We'll just discard this nib to bring it back. And then we can link these two off and go into our Princess. Now, we are not going to use Princess yet. We have to hold off on using it. Jet Synchron is banished, so something to keep in mind. We're going to use Sequence Effect to equip the Lacrima. Then we can use this Oliver that we added, and this is why we needed the Oliver specifically, because we needed a card to target the Angelica. That was the hardest thing for us to figure out, and Oliver actually ended up being the best thing for this. So we can use this in the graveyard to target her, and then we can chain her effect to be able to banish her to summon the Roland from the deck, and then this allows us to dump the best Noble Knight extender by far, who is Turpin. Now, as you know, usually Turpin usually use one effect or the other. It's pretty hard to get both of them. In this way, we actually can because of the existence of Promethean Princess. So here, we can use Princess's effect to bring back the Turpin, which is a level 4, non-tuner. Then we can just immediately synchro it off to go into our Charles. Now, from here, usually people equip Roland to the Charles, but we want to equip the Turpin effect so we can get value out of this effect because we already used Oliver. So now, we can link these off to go into our Great Emperor Charles, and then use his effect to put the normal Charles under it. Now, again, we already used Princess's effect. It's very important. So she's pretty much useless now. We just have to get rid of her. That's the main thing. So we're going to use our Desiree to negate the Princess. Then we can use Turpin's Graveyard effect to special summon it. So now we've used the equip effect and the special effect, so we don't care about Turpin anymore. It's did its job. Now we can link away the Turpin and the Princess to go into Silhouette Habit, because we can go out of fires because we used Promethean to negate it. Use Rabbit's effect to set the trap card of the Angel Statue Azarun. Then we can use our Museum to push up the Charles And again, we didn't use Roland yet because we used the Turpin earlier, so we can use Roland to equip to the Charles. And then we're going to Synchro to go, Link to go back into another Charles the Great. And this is where it's almost annoying. You have so much value here. You are not going to use this to equip to this Charles. You are not going to use the Link monster to bring back the Charles. You do not need his effect. This card is good enough. It is just a spell or trap negate, and that's all we need it to be. This Charles gets more value being in the graveyard than it does on the field. It actually clogs up too much board space, and we're going to get rid of more free cards because we just do not have room. And I'm going to show you what I mean in a second. So from here, this is pretty much the actual M board. But what we're going to do is we're going to go to end phase, and we're going to activate the Charles the Great effects who has this effect. So the first one that we made, and we are able to equip the Durandal to him, as well as we are able to equip a Fire Warrior from the main deck to him. So we're going to equip Magius. Actually, my apologies. We're going to bring back Angelica before that. So we're going to do Angelica first, then do Charles' end phase effect to equip both Durandal and Magius. Still in the end phase, you have to use his effect to pop the Angelica. You do not want Angelica here. And the reason you don't want it here is you need it to play around Dark Ruler. Dark Ruler is a problem, obviously, for this deck. So if your opponent drops a Dark Ruler, you need to be able to activate the Azaroon and then chain Desiree to the Dark Ruler. This also applies to Droplet. Realistically, this card does not need to be, I don't see this card's effect coming up that much, right? Like, they shouldn't even get to the point where that's going to come up because of how strong your field is. So realistically, I think this card, obviously you're going to use it, just more interruptions the better, right? But this card being here is just for Dark Ruler insurance. So you have to not equip with the Charles, and then you have to pop your own Angelica as well. And you also are not bringing back the Deception. And you're not doing that and equipping the Charles because you need this free slot here for the Roland. You value this pop more than anything. You really do. You value it more than everything. So you want the pop, the removal effect in this as reliable as possible. On your opponent's turn, if they activate spell or traps and you use them, you're going to be using the Magius, and hopefully the Roland would be the next best choice. If not, you have the Rondel to send to negate spell and traps, as well as being able to use Magius's effect to put back the Turpin, and you can put back the Almace. This is the third card, as well as the Oliver. So, right, you have exactly 3. This is why you have to get Almace, because Magius does not work if you did not get 3, because you can't put back extra deck cards with Magius. So you have to do Oliver, Almace, and Turpin. You have exactly 3 in this scenario. So if you negate something on your opponent's turn, it is exactly live. And then you also have Promethean Princess in the graveyard as well as just more follow-up, just as something else. And then, of course, on your opponent's, when he comes back to you, you have, Silvera, Princess possibly on the field, Durandal already on the field, Museum still here, you shuffle stuff back, you're probably going to have bodies left over, so you're going to have a lot of stuff still going for you. You can go back into the Fiendsmith engine if you wish to, because you have Moon back in your extra deck. So yeah, you have a lot going here, but again, no, this board has never been cracked. This is an insane board. It's just ridiculous. This is an absurd board. If you use Promethean Princess, I recommend popping the Charles the Great that did not equip the Synchro, because you care about that the least, right? Because then on your turn, you can use Promethean Princess to bring it back, and then it's the same card. It's just still a spell or trap negate, which is awesome, right? Which is the main thing that I want this to be. So yeah, that is pretty much it for the combo. I think I explained everything well. Again, you need this spot open for Roland. You need the monster spot open for the Azaroon in case of Dark Ruler. And then you have 1 interruption, 2 interruption, 3 interruption, 4 interruption, 5 interruption, 6 interruption, 7 interruption, 8 interruption. You have 8 interruptions on this board, and they are very diversified. A lot of spell and trap negates. So if you play against people who are playing going second strategies like Tempai, or now Sky Striker apparently with Raigeki, Dark Hole, Dark Ruler, evenly match, this deck turbos through them like they're nothing. It's crazy. So again, I hope you guys enjoy. This is a bit of a different combo. I don't see a lot of Infernoble Knight stuff coming out recently, so I figured this would be something that would be good. And I'll also show off the interaction between the Fiendsmiths and the Infernobles. Another thing, very quickly, that I want to mention, because I don't know if I'm going to do another video on this, Fiendsmith Engraver's effect can be used to trigger Angelica, right? So if you have a Requiem equipped to him, you can use his effect to attempt to send away the Angelica, because it does target, and you can target any monster on the field. So if you have Engraver and Angelica, you can use his effect, target the Angelica, chain Angelica. You lose the Requiem, but you still can trigger Angelica, which is the main thing, dump Turpin, and then you're in a pretty okay spot. So yeah, that's pretty much it now. Again, if you have any recommendations, please leave them down below. Greatly appreciate it, and subscribe if you enjoyed. But until further ado, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.